Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Now, I'm going to talk about my car again. My '04 Honda Accord 4-cylinder. It's got a few problems, like I said. Stop leak. You can always tell if there's stop leak in there because you just put your finger in there, and a lot of nasty dirt stuff will come out. And it could be clogged somewhere. That could be why it's intermittently, freaking out. Could be why the fans aren't working. There could be a sensor in there somewhere that's saying, hey, I can't see anything. I'm not turning the fans on. Essential. I don't know if that's the case. Or I can't feel anything. I don't know. I'm not a sensor person. All I know is I just fired my mechanic, and I'm going to give you a few pointers as to why. As far as the cooling system goes, this right here is a water pump. My mechanic told me that he was absolutely right, and that this unit, these are not both cooling fans. This one's a cooling fan. That it only turns on whenever the vehicle reaches a certain temperature. I said no, incorrect. They're both cooling fans. This one's supposed to be constantly running. And this one's supposed to start running when it hits 180 degrees. But I let it go. And we moved on to the next thing, which is the water pump. He told me, or his assistant told me, that it was going to be a 6-hour job at least. That they were going to have to go in the motor, remove the timing belt. Remember that word, belt. In my 4-cylinder '04 Accord, that they were going to have to remove the timing belt and put this water pump inside the motor. What's wrong with that picture? Anybody want to tell me what's wrong with that picture? You see this big black thing here? I call that a pulley. That's what I call it. It turns. A pulley usually symbolizes something that's belt driven on the outside of the motor. I think that if he tries to put this in my motor after removing my timing belt, then he's gonna run into maybe a problem or two. Yeah? Yeah. Because this motor, unlike the 6-cylinder, is not timing belt driven. It is timing chain driven. It's a big differences between the '04 Accord 4-cylinder and the '04 Accord 6. One of the major differences is timing belt, timing chain, and transmission. The transmission, nothing but problems in the 6-cylinder. Tons of problems in the 6-cylinder. Very common. Rack and pinion, power steering fluid, burst into flames while you're driving down the road. Happened to a friend of mine that works at my place of business, where I work. It's not my place of business. I treat it like that, though. But listen. Okay. This doesn't have that problem, but they are prone to have power steering pumps, which is another reason my mechanic is fired, because his buddy, his little assistant, did not purge. I had to ask him to purge the system, and he did it only kind of half-ass purge the system, so it was airlocked for a couple of weeks. Like, a couple of weeks. These are really hard. Hey! Y'all cut that out! Hey! Sparky! You little... Stop it! Okay, anyways. I love my cats. Where was I? Airlocked. These Hondas, once they get airlocked, it's very hard to get them not airlocked. You know what I'm saying? And once you use a certain type of power steering fluid in this, try to use the exact same kind of power steering fluid every time. I don't think I have a leak. There's a lot of white stuff all over there. But anyways, just remember that. And yeah. Another thing you might want to check. See, for some reason my mechanic wanted to jump straight to water pump. He didn't consider that, well, now both fans aren't working. I guess they have about the same lifespan because neither one is working. This might surprise you. Thermostats on a Honda Accord are $50 from an auto parts store. I get them for $29 online at Amazon.com. Always check the ratings, seller, all his reviews and whatever. This is thermostat. It looks a little funny. This is also the housing for the thermostat. What it does is when it gets hot, it opens up the flow so the coolant can go through the motor. When it gets cold, it closes it, so the motor can get a little warm and maybe, I don't know, you can run your heater. My heater doesn't work because the valve back there won't open. So I have to do it manually. Now, thermostat, this is thermostat. Bada boom, bada bing. All you gotta do, these are Jap clamps. I don't like Jap clamps. Once I take this off, that just shows me it may have never been changed because nobody likes these. I use American clamps. Twist them off, twist them on. With a Phillips screwdriver. Instead of getting in here with pliers and trying to do all that. This hose, wow, that hose needs to be replaced. Yeah, that stinks. And that's basically it. Now I gotta flush the radiator because of all this stop leak. And usually there's a little thing at the bottom that you twist off. Be sure you know which way to twist it or else you might break it off. To drain the water out. I'm using water. I'm not using coolant. Yep. And flush it. Run water through it very thoroughly. And make sure you do it right. Don't want to mess anything up. Make sure this reservoir is full and that the hose has not disconnected. Otherwise, when your car needs water, it won't be able to get it, which has happened to me before. This was disconnected and yeah, that water's looking murky again. This is easy to detach. All you got to do is unbolt it, comes out, dump it out, clean it out really good, and you should be good to go. I'm using water instead of coolant right now. Probably a good thing because my radiator has a leak. And I think it has a leak. Why would you put stop leak in it if it doesn't have a leak? I need a new hose. I bought a hose. They sent me the wrong one. So I gotta send that back. One of the problems with ordering online. But that's basically all that needs done with the cooling system. I got some fans on the way. I'll show you how to install those once I figure it out. It should be pretty easy. Sure, everything's plugged in. Everything looks nice and loose and like it's falling apart. But that's okay for a 04 Accord. There's been a couple accidents. It's, that didn't help. I'll also be getting another radiator just in case. And this radiator has been replaced before. But also, you'll see in there, I don't know, is that the radiator? Well, somewhere in there is the AC condenser, and that's caved in. If this is a radiator, which looks like it, wow, I hope that's not the radiator, because then I definitely need a radiator. No, it's not. Okay, the AC condenser, thankfully, was before the radiator. That's why my air conditioner, they said the air conditioner runs fine. So I put the Freon in, everything else, ran it through there with the little gun with the little pressure gauge on it. My AC condenser is caved in, so it all comes out. It only runs good for 30 minutes. But, yeah, that's about all that needs to be done with it. Is radiator, fan, water pump, thermostat. And then your cooling system should have no problems whatsoever. And the reason you might want to check your relays. If your cooling fan, the relay's bad, then it won't run. That's just kind of obvious. That's the first thing you check. You don't check the water pump first. You don't look at the water pump. You don't touch the water pump. The mechanic goes through all the little simple things first. He doesn't jump to the worst thing possible. If he does that, he's trying to get your money. That's it. Or he's misinformed, which apparently he was misinformed because this doesn't fit inside the motor. No, it doesn't. Don't try it. It won't work out. Low storage. Okay. But that's my next segment. I'm going to be doing, showing you the other reason why I fired my mechanic, which is O2 sensors and air fuel ratio sensors. Some of the interesting stuff he told me about that. Why a 15-minute job costs $60. Because they have to be programmed. You gotta program the sensor. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Well, that's what I was going to let you know. Remember, pulley means outside. No pulley means inside. For the most part. So, y'all have a good one. Be blessed. Be careful. And remember, work on your own car. Learn how to do it. If you're incapable, get somebody you trust and know. Otherwise, bring somebody with you. And just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I'm stupid.